Hello folks, I'm Alex, this is Alex Unabridged, and these are my plans for the GarbAugust 2.5 Wasted Weekend Mark II. So welcome back to the channel if that is the case. Yes, so it's time for a bit of a trash dive then. Yep, GarbAugust is back for just a weekend, much like last year, the weekend of the 17th and 18th of February. So next weekend, a week tomorrow, is the GarbAugust 2.5 Wasted Weekend, hosted of course by the fabulous King of Trash, Olly over at Olly. The link to Olly's channel and the announcement video for the GarbAugust Wasted Weekend 2 is in the description below. So I can't resist a full weekend of rolling around in the trash again. So today I'm going to go through what I am planning to read for that weekend. But first of all, let's have a quick reminder of what I mean by trash, what we generally mean by trash or trashy fiction. First and foremost, it's not an insult to call something trash in my book. Far from it. I absolutely love trashy stuff. It is some of the most fun stuff to read. Trashy books come in all forms, of course, but some of the most obvious that we've covered before on GarbAugust are category romance, for instance, so Mills and Boons, Harlequin romances, that kind of thing, shifter romance, etc. Then you've got your horror, so paperbacks from hell, kind of pulpy horror stuff. Men's adventure, you know, manly men doing manly things, often as a one-man army, guns, cars, action, sex, all that kind of stuff. You've got novelizations and tie-ins to films, TV, video games, that kind of thing, really. Trashy books are often part of very long series. They often feature lots of tropes. They're often very plot-based and quite often have a lot of things like lots of sex and violence. But they are so often highly enjoyable, highly enjoyable, and very easy to read. And I just love them. I just love trash. I am a complete, not convert, because I read quite a bit of trash when I was a teenager, and then nothing at all really, sort of from being a teenager through till sort of last year really, when Olly got me back into it with GarbAugust. So yes, trash is fantastic. So reading plans for the weekend then. So yeah, the Saturday 17th, Sunday the 18th are the kind of, you know, the dates for the Wasted Weekend. But I personally think that the weekend generally starts on a Friday. So I will be starting my Trash Fest on the evening of the 16th. I've already got a trashy book in my TBR for February. I try and get one trashy book in each month at the moment. But I'll probably read that the week before the Wasted Weekend, so next week basically, as a warm-up really for the event. I've decided to pick a few short pieces to read rather than like one or two longer ones for the weekend. And as an antidote to my Read What You Own challenge, I'm allowing all my picks to come from the stuff that I've got access to via subscription services. So I've got Kindle Unlimited and Audible Plus, and I've not really been using those the last couple of months because of being on the Read What You Own challenge and trying to clear some of the stuff off my, you know, stuff that I own off my Kindle or off my shelves. But there's so much stuff on there that I really want to read, so now is the time to kind of use those subscriptions a little bit, and try some of the stuff that's been in my wish lists on there for my subscriptions. I've picked stuff that sounds like it's got a trashy element to it, but I won't know if it's truly fantastically trashy until I give it a go, because a lot of these are kind of more contemporary stuff. It's not kind of, you know, you sort of stuff from the 70s, 80s, etc., like some men's adventure stuff like The Executioner, that's older stuff. It's a lot of paperbacks from hell, our 70s, 80s. You know, this is stuff that is predominantly like contemporary stuff. But it sounds trashy, so I'm going to give it a try for this. Okay, so the first one then. The first one is a lit RPG. I've wanted to try one of these for ages. I'm a massive gamer. I've always been into video games, and these days it is kind of the hobby that is just as important to me as books and reading it. So the appeal is definitely there to me. And the genre on the whole, I have to say, sounds like it could be kind of trashy to me in the best possible way. If you don't know what a lit RPG is, it's short for literary role-playing game. And it's a genre that kind of combines the conventions of computer RPGs, role-playing games, like their game mechanics, etc. So that could be things like, you know, dungeons with kind of boss battles in, loot, statistics regarding things like damage, experience points, leveling up, that kind of stuff that you'd find in a computer role-playing game. They combine that with science fiction and fantasy novels and that kind of structure. As I say, I've wanted to try these for ages. I've had one on my list for a long time, which is Dungeon Crawler Carl, but it's a little bit long to read for this weekend. So I had a search online and found a shorter piece that I'm going to try out instead. And so that is Wasteland Warlords, a post-apocalyptic lit RPG adventure by James Hunter and Eden Hudson. And this is an audiobook from Audible Plus Catalogue. And it's narrated by Travis Baldry, and that's what sold me on it, really. I thought the concept sounded good, but it was the narration by Travis Baldry that made me go, yes, that one will do fine, thank you. Travis Baldry, of course, is the author of Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust, both of which I listened to on audio and were narrated by him. And he's great as a narrator. He's fantastic, especially with fantasy stuff. I think he's done a lot of fantasy stuff. His name pops up everywhere on Audible stuff. So I think, you know, give that one a go with some narration from Travis Baldry, and fingers crossed that should be a good time. So yeah, that's about 3.5 hours. So that's one sitting for me, one evening. I can listen to that. The blurb for this then is, you keep what you kill. That's one law everybody out here respects. 20 years ago, the Merge brought the armies of monsters flooding into the West Coast. Dungeons popped up in shopping malls, airports, and Starbucks. Walls were built to contain the spread, but the promise of priceless loot dropped by the creatures inspired a new type of gold rush. Magical weapons, powerful gear, potions to cure every ill. If you survive long enough to kill the mob, whatever they drop belongs to you. Clay Yeager has nothing left outside the walls. Civilization took everything he worked for, chewed it up and spat it out. Now Clay, his wife Alex, and his beer-loving, chainsaw-toting brother Joe are going west to try their hand at monster killing. The loot from the low-level mobs is enticing, but it isn't the real reason they risk the infested zone. They need to kill a dungeon lord. Only 1 in 10,000 hunters pulls it off. The rest become fertilizer for the wasteland, but the few who beat the odds gain riches, glory, and most importantly, the dungeon lord's magical powers. They have nothing left to lose and everything to gain, if they survive. So yeah, that it sounds that as I say, the whole concept of a lit RPG and this using of like RPG game mechanics and tropes and all that kind of stuff within a literary format, that says kind of trashiness to me. But yeah, even that, you know, chainsaw toting, beer loving characters, you know, a battle through a dungeon to be a magical dungeon boss, you know, all for fame and fortune. Yep, I'll give that a go. So yeah, we'll see how I get on with it. My first lit RPG. Okay then, next up, some animal attack horror. I think this is probably my favourite subgenre of trashy horror. I love anything that's like animal attack, bugs, etc., all that kind of stuff, infestations of things. That sort of stuff floats my boat. And I found a certain love in the last year or so for sharky horror. So when I saw this next one, I could not pass it up. And this is Methalodon by Hugo Navikov. This is only 107 pages, so this is a nice short one. And the blurb for this one is, ruthless drug kingpin Elgato, known for his iron fist, is enraged as a megalodon engulfs his prized submarine, swallowing $20 million worth of cocaine and methamphetamines in the process. Fueled by vengeance, Elgato hunts down once famous but now washed up TV fisherman Chris Newman and the brilliant ichthyologist Abby Marnock at vacation destination Persuasion Island and makes them an offer they can't refuse. Get the sub out of the megalodon or Elgato will kill everyone on the island. There is a complication, however. The drugs coursing through the Meg system transform the 60-foot beast into a deranged meth-fueled monster, hell-bent on satisfying its insatiable cravings. It wreaks havoc, ready to consume, crush and obliterate anything in its path. But Newman and Marnock haven't been given a choice. They must go into the belly of the beast. This just sounds batshit, doesn't it? Really. So I'm kind of like, well, yes, of course, I have to try this one. There's no question of it, really. It would be a sin not to, I believe. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to some more ridiculous Meg action. This time, a Meg on meth. And can I just say how much I really hate the cover of this? In terms of it terrifies me. Having to download this image and put it in during the edits, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. Thank goodness this is an ebook, and that I really actually have to look at the cover much. It's not like a physical one where every time you pick it up, there's the cover there staring at you. But yes, no. My visual fear of sharks is definitely triggered by that. Right. Anyway, the third one that I've got on my list. I'm in the mood for something completely different from what I usually go for as well. So, and I've been feeling drawn towards some pulpy vampiric action recently. I don't know why. So next up, I have got Horror of the Blood Devils by Tim Curran, which is 168 pages. So again, another nice short one. Tim Curran is an author that I've heard numerous decent reports of as a pulpy writer. So I think it's about time that I try some of his stuff. So the summary for this one then is Despair Island, 1962. Prison break. 5 desperate men go over the wall at Stackhouse Correctional. Their objective, reach the coast on the far end of the island before all hell breaks loose. Behind them are teams of guards with vicious dogs. Before them, the treacherous depths of snake-bit swamp, a desolate primeval run of alligators and poisonous snakes. But there's something worse that calls it home, an ancient evil that feeds on human blood. If the guards and convicts want to survive the night, they'll have to join together. They have entered the hunting grounds, and they are prey. So yes, so the description also says of this book should satisfy all connoisseurs of gore horror. Now, I don't read much gore stuff. Sometimes it's a little bit too much for me. But I did have a lot of fun with Carl John Lee's Psychic Teenage Bloodbath last year. And that was pretty gory splatterpunk stuff. But as I say, I had really good fun with that. It was gross, but it was a good read, good time. So if it's done right, then I can definitely enjoy it. So we'll see what I make of that one anyway. You know, it's a good time to try something short and something that is completely different to what I usually read. And then if I have time after I've done those three, I will dip into a series that I've kind of got on the go, that I've had on the go since the first Wasted Weekend. Which is Monstrous by Lily Mayne, and I'm up to book 5 in that, or I've read 4. So book 5 is Moth, that's what it's called, and these are post-apocalyptic gay monster romance, and they're quite spicy. and they're full of action and kind of good thrillery bits usually, and they're quite humorous. I really like them. I really like the setting. I really like the world building in these, as much as, you know, a bit of spicy gay romance. So if I have time, I will try and get through Moth as well, because I've not read any from that series for a while, and they are always good fun. This one, it's, you know, the description for it isn't necessarily, I think it's a bit more enemies to lovers from what I can tell, which isn't generally my kind of romance in terms of the tropes. But as I say, I kind of trust Lily Mayne on this, so I'll give it a go and give it a chance. So there we go. That is that is what I've got ready and waiting for me in my little pile of trash for the wasted weekend. So yes, 17th and 18th of February, folks. So that will do from me today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, folks, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do let me know if you will be diving into the trash for the wasted weekend, and if so, what do you plan to read? What wonders have you found for the wasted weekend? I'll be back on Sunday with a bit of a response video to my buddy Troy Trellup, where I'll be having a little chat about fear and writing, and art for that matter, and why I find it sometimes so scary releasing my creations for all to see. So do join me for that one in a couple of days' time. But from me, for now, that's ta-ra.